Substantiate, to establish by proof or competent evidence. Welcome back to Substantiate. I'm the host, William Glasser, bringing you hypothetical sports matchups every single week. Welcome back to the Substantiate podcast. We're back here. Another week, another episode this summer. I think it's July by the time you're listening to this. So happy July. Hope you're having a great summer, staying cool in the warm weather. So we're just going to continue on just like the last few weeks with more Poddex questions. So here's the first one. Do you go for popcorn or candy at the movie theater? This one, you gotta go for popcorn because who doesn't want to just drench some popcorn in oily butter? Like, it's just a thing you have to do. You gotta get the popcorn. Like, sweets at a movie theater, if you're opening a bag of something, then it's usually loud, and you're in the movie theater. So at the end of the day, the only logical conclusion to that question is popcorn. You just got to get the popcorn. It's just what you do. No questions asked. All right, continuing on with more movie questions. Which movie plot twist blew your mind? So this one I'm going to go, I guess, Star Wars, and in the sequels that Rey's grandfather, well, sort of grandfather, sort of uncle, depending on how you look at clones in a family tree, but that she is Palpatine's granddaughter. Didn't see that one coming. I guess that would be sort of similar to if you were watching the original trilogy in Star Wars and you find out that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad. I mean, that's just another one of those things in the sequels where they just try to copy the originals. And no, like, just doesn't work like that. And it just doesn't make as much sense. And I think it's the whole thing with Palpatine cloning himself. And it's his clone that's Rey's mother. But I don't know. It's just kind of cheap to copy the same plot lines over and over. You had a Death Star, now you have Starkiller Base. You had Darth Vader as Luke's father, well, now Palpatine is related to Rey. Okay, next question. 3D glasses, love them or hate them? I'm kind of mixed about this. It depends on the movie. I'm very fine with watching a movie regularly. I don't need the 3D. I think it's cool and it can be interesting in some ways, but at the end of the day, like, movie's a movie. I'm fine with it the way it is. But if they're asking about the glasses themselves, no, I don't mind needing to wear glasses to get an enhanced vision of the movie. All right, moving on from movies now. What strange food product will be bottled as perfume and cologne 20 years from now? So I don't know if this is necessarily a food product, but I think something along the lines of like French toast or something cinnamony, because it just has a really warm scent, if you know what I mean. Like, it's just, you always want to get closer to it because it smells good and it makes you want something. And I think most people can agree with the smell of cinnamon. All right, let's check out some would you rather questions. So would you rather never wear shorts or socks again? I'm going to have to go with shorts on this one because if you're somewhere that's not too warm, then sweatpants are fine, or regular pants for that matter. But if you couldn't wear socks, then it's really, really annoying to have to then go do stuff in sneakers. Then your sneakers are going to start to smell a lot. And then also, shorts isn't including bathing suits. So if you were somewhere warm and you wanted to go to the beach or the pool or a water park, something along those lines, there's nothing that says you can't wear bathing suits. So I think I'd have to go with no more shorts on that one. Would you rather never use toilet paper again or wear wrinkled clothes forever? I can survive on wrinkled clothes. Would you rather never be able to use GPS ever or never take another elevator again? So I would probably go with no more GPS because, I mean, in the rare instances where you need to go up to, say, like the 20th floor of a building, then, I mean, that's just a pain if you're trying to get up it compared to if you're just driving around or getting from one place to another. You could either pull out the old-fashioned map, or how often are you driving somewhere where you don't know where you're going? Although I guess just because it's been the last year and a half that it seems like not a lot, but still, I feel like I could survive decently without a GPS, but anytime you need to get up that many flights of stairs, that's going to be brutal. So going with no more GPS. Here's an interesting one. Would you rather have lobster claws or hedge clippers for hands? I guess I would probably have to go lobster claws. Like in the TV show Futurama, Zoidberg, he's got lobster claws, and it's annoying, but at least you could sort of do stuff with that. But hedge clippers, I mean, you can't hold anything with hedge clippers, really, and that's going to be really difficult, at least with lobster claws, if there's something really hard, like maybe a fork or a spoon. Hopefully you wouldn't crack right through that. And not that hedge clippers would cut through some solid metal necessarily, but it would just be a lot harder to hold them. So I think lobster claws is definitely the way to go on that one. What cool feature will all airplanes be equipped with 20 years from now? So I think there will be some kind of thing that'll level the plane out so you can walk around pretty easily in the cabin and not have to worry about, any turbulence or anything. And so because of that, I think it might become a little more open, and then maybe a vending machine in the back or something. So just that kind of thing to make things more accessible while you're there physically. And then obviously when it comes to Wi-Fi, even now most planes have Wi-Fi, and it's not quite free most places yet, but hopefully that would be coming around on the horizon. Because let's be realistic. Let's say you were getting on a long plane ride. Let's say you were flying across an ocean, and it's, 6 to 10 hours minimum. And in one airline, they have free Wi-Fi, and the other one is charging you $10 an hour. Well, on that long of a flight, I think you would probably want to go with the one with free Wi-Fi, depending on the original ticket price, but I think that'll definitely become a more important thing. All right, we'll wrap up with one more question. If you were guaranteed the correct answer to one question, what would you ask? This one's kind of a joke. I wouldn't actually ask this question, but does Garrett Cole use spider tack? Maybe you'll find out by the time that you're listening to this, but you may have heard a clip of Ken Davidoff of the New York Post, who was also a guest on the podcast last November, talking about Yankees players on a season of Survivor. But he asked Garrett Cole if he used spider tack, and Garrett Cole stumbled, and it really seems like he does, which is unfortunate, but whatever. You can go check out that clip, I guess on YouTube probably. But that's going to wrap up this Wednesday's episode of the Substantiate Podcast. Come back next Wednesday and every Wednesday for more episodes like these for the next few weeks. And then eventually I'll get home and I'll create more hypothetical matchups. So stay tuned for next week. And until then, have a great week. Thank you for listening to this episode of Substantiate. The best way to help support the show is to, number one, tell your friends about Substantiate. That is the number one way to support us. The second way is to leave us a 5-star review in Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. Number 3, follow us at SubstantiatePod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Hello, I'm Anthony.
And I'm Dr. Issues.
And we're hosts of Capes on the Couch, the podcast where comics get counseling.
Superheroes don't always get to go home happy. That's where we come in.
We offer psychiatric and mental health analysis of comic book characters.
So check us out at capesonthecouch.live and across all social media platforms at Capes on the Couch.